Let's do this. Pentax 6, 7. Pentax 6, 7. Feel the burn, baby. Deep, deep burn.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Shoots with Coops. And today, like you guessed, we are talking about the mighty Pentax 6.7 and the 105mm lens. Now, it's been a long time since I picked up a camera in my hand, and it just felt absolutely amazing. The 6.7, believe it or not, it's huge, it's heavy. It's not that heavy as far as I'm concerned. It's cumbersome. A lot of people, the lists go on and on and on. People complain about it, loud shutter slap, etc., etc. All these things that people complain about this camera, I love about this camera. I love the weight, I love the heft, I love the size of it. I'm a big guy. This camera just fits me to an absolute T. And I can't believe for years that I've turned my nose up at this camera. I scoffed at it for all those reasons that people complain about it. But now I have it in my hands. I'm absolutely loving it. I've fallen in love with this lens. And today I just wanted to make a little video for you guys, not a review. I just want to talk a bit about the camera, why I picked it up, what I plan to do with it, how the results have stunned me, amazed me, things of that nature. Let's dive into it. So why do I have this camera, guys? If you go back about 5 years on my channel, you will find a video called Road Trip with the Mamiya RZ67. Now, in that video, I did a road trip along a stretch of highway of the southwest region here in Western Australia. It's a 4.5 hour drive between Perth, where I live, and out in the country in Albany, where my brother lives. And I used to live there when I was younger. And I started documenting that drive. And now, before I made that video, I had started shooting a lot of 35mm up and down the highway. I wanted to get serious. I wanted to make some kind of book. So I started shooting it with 6.7, which is why, again, I got another 6.7 camera to finish the project. So there's some consistency between the format, the depth of field, the color, same film, etc. And I made that first video and a few trips, and I made this book. Now, this book is a little business card. That was the whole point of it. Essentially, it was meant to be a business card so that when I wanted to continue the project, because I really wanted to take portraits of people. I wanted portraits. I feel like this is essentially my version of the American West road trip landscape work. I love that work. I absolutely love it. But I'm not about to go over there and copy people's work, other people's work. This is my backyard. I have a lot of experience with the country. I grew up in the country. I chopped my finger off in the country. I've lived out in the country. I'm a city boy now because my wife won't move back to the country. Please, Emily Moore. Em, if you're listening, please, can we just move back to the country? Please. But I made this book as essentially, like I said, a business card. I wanted to add portraits to the work, and the whole point was to use this book to say, listen, this is a project I'm doing, have a look through it, etc. I would love to take your photo and explain it that way. And I felt like having this would show people that, okay, look, the guy's obviously serious, he's got a book already, things like that. And it would essentially maybe get me access. Now, the 6.7 is a big camera. Any 6.7 cameras are generally quite big. This is a big, heavy camera, but it's also just an oversized looking monstrosity of a thing. Now, that lends itself well to what I want to do, because such a big camera, people are going to be curious about what it is. It's not digital, etc., etc. Spark more of a conversation, let me photograph more people that way. Now, this 105mm lens I have absolutely fallen in love with. I always knew it was good. I've seen photos on the internet of the portraits people taking. The large format-esque look, people always talk about it. It's just that extremely shallow depth of field on a large negative. The color rendition and the sharpness wide open have blown me away. I thought it may be one of those overrated lenses, but I'm honestly have absolutely fallen in love. And I think this might quickly become one of my top 2 favorite lenses of all time, next to the Leica 50mm Summicron. Now, it's amazing. For what I want to do, portraits, it's the perfect tool for the job. The fact that the Pentax system as well can go to 1/1000th of a second, that one extra stop, which means it's much easier to shoot wider, open up the aperture wider on sunny days. And even if you need be, you can whack an ND over the top if you have to. But it'll let me shoot at 2.4 at 1/1000th of a second, not have to worry about any mirrors, shake, things like that. Though I have been shooting at a 60th of a second, and there's no vibration or soft images from the mirror slap. I reckon that's all a lot of BS. Anyway, I picked it up for pretty cheap. The body is pretty haggard, to be honest. There's dents, there's scratches. It's not in mint condition. It's a 100% user condition camera. The 105 came with some of those notorious yellow thorium-baked radioactive element, whatever they did back in the day, so supposedly give it better quality, better sharpness, whatever, colors, whatever they did, and they baked in that thorium to the rear element. 2 days in a little UV box with a UV lamp has honestly pretty much cleared it up by at least 75%. So much so that I shot 2 rolls of color film before I put the UV light on it, and I actually quite enjoyed. There's a little bit of a warmth to it. Looks kind of nice, but I've cleared that up. It looks great now. This thing is just amazing. And for the work that I'm about to endeavor to complete, a big step away from the surf work, as some people in Australia know. I spoke about it on one of our groups. I was selling another camera. Anyway, we can get into that for another story. But the Pentax 6.7 truly is quite an amazing camera. And to be honest, I mean, it's not that heavy, really. I mean, again, people complain about this camera being an absolute beast. The joke that you need to, be working out in the gym, which is why you saw me doing pull-ups as an ode to that meme around the internet and that gag, doing pull-ups with this weighted pull-ups with the Pentax 6.7. But it's not that heavy. It fits my hands perfectly. It's perfectly ergonomic for me. I mean, spent 3 hours walking around Freo with my wife last weekend and the boys, and I had this slung around my neck the whole time. Was my neck a little stiff afterwards? Yeah, sure, but it wasn't that bad to complain that, this is just too hard to carry around, it's too heavy, etc. Now, there is one major problem I have with this camera, and it's going to be a very, very expensive problem. And the problem is, I have fallen in love with this camera and every aspect of this camera, so much so that I'm contemplating shilling out the $3,500 Australian dollars to get a body-only 6.7 II. Because the upgrades to that camera would make my life in this project a lot easier, not having to use a handheld meter, having aperture priority, having that stepless shutter, a little bit lighter, which doesn't bother me, but I think it's 100 grams lighter. Just that newer camera, a bit more reliable. It's going to be an expensive problem because it's a lot of money to buy the Pentax 6.7 II, but that's how much I have fallen in love with this camera and this lens combination, that I'm willing to shill out that kind of money for the upgraded version, when essentially this does the exact same thing. More or less does the exact same thing. I've just fallen in love with it so much, I'm contemplating a Pentax 6.7 II. So if you want to sell me yours at a good price, don't be shy and send me a message. But thanks for watching this today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little talk, enjoyed some of the photos I've shown you. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next episode of Shoots with Coops. See you later.